Then he married. Babies began coming. Tourists began demanding more and more pewter. Budgets increased. Money was hard. So he began grounding out the pewter cups. He was so embarrassed in his psyche that he didn't want to put his name on it. Then he heard the kitten, and he remembered that somewhere along the way he had forgotten that he knew the song of the genuine in himself. A simple story. There is something in every one of you that waits, listens for the genuine in yourself. And if you cannot hear it, you will never find whatever it is for which you are searching. And if you hear it and then do not follow it, it was better that you had never been born. You are the only one of you that has ever lived. Your idiom is the only idiom of its kind in all the existences. And if you cannot hear the sound of the genuine in you, you will all of your life spend your days on the ends of strings that somebody else pulls. That's quite a statement, isn't it? Thurman goes on. There is in you something that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in yourself. And sometimes there is so much traffic going on in your mind, so many different kinds of signals, so many vast impulses floating through your organism that go back thousands of generations, long before you were even a thought in the mind of creation. And you are buffeted by these. And in the midst of all of this, you have got to find out what your name is. Who are you? How does the sound of the genuine come through to you? The sound of the genuine is flowing through you. Don't be deceived and thrown off by all the noises that are part of even your dreams and your ambitions, that you don't hear the sound of the genuine in you, because that is the only true guide that you will ever have. And if you don't have that, you don't have a thing. You may be famous. You may be whatever the other ideals are that are part of this generation. But you know you don't have the foggiest notion of who you are, where you're going, what you want. Cultivate the discipline of listening to the sound of the genuine in yourself. Now, there is something in everybody that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in other people. And it is so easy for me or you to say that anybody who looks like him or her, anybody who acts as this person or the other person acts, there simply can't be any sound of the genuine in you. I must wait. For if I cannot hear it, then in my scheme of things, you're not even present. And everybody wants to feel that everybody else knows that she is there. I have a blind friend who just became blind after she was a grown woman. I asked her, "What is the greatest disaster that your blindness has brought to you?" She said, "When I go places where there are people, I have a feeling that nobody knows that I'm there. I can't see any recognition. I can't see. And if nobody knows that I'm here, it's hard for me to know where I am. There is something that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in your mother, in your father, in the people you can't stand. And if you had the power, you would wipe them out. But instinctively, you know that if you wipe them out, you go with them. So you fight for your own life by finding some way to get along with them without killing them. There is something in you that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in other people. And if you can't hear it, then you are reduced by that much. If I were to ask you what is the thing that you desire most in life this afternoon, you would say a lot of things off the top of your head, most of which you wouldn't believe. But you would think that you were saying the things that I thought you ought to think that you should say. But I think that if you were stripped to whatever there is in you that is literal and irreducible, and you tried to answer that question, the answer may be something like this. I want to feel that I'm thoroughly and completely understood, so that now and then I can take my guard down and look out around me and not feel that I will be destroyed with my defenses down. I want to feel completely vulnerable, completely naked, completely exposed, and absolutely secure. This is what you look for in your children when you have them. This is what you look for in your husband if you get one. That I can run the risk of radical exposure and know that the eye that beholds my vulnerability will not step on me. That I can feel secure in my awareness of the active presence of my own idiom in me. So, as I live my life then, this is what I am trying to fulfill. It doesn't matter whether I become a doctor, lawyer, housewife, that I'm secure because I hear the sound of the genuine in myself. And having learned to listen to that, I can become quiet enough, still enough, to hear the sound of the genuine in you. Now, if I hear the sound of the genuine in me, and if you hear the sound of the genuine in you, it is possible for me to go down in my spirit and come up in your spirit, so that when I look at myself through your eyes, having made that pilgrimage, I see in me what you see in me. Then the wall that separates and divides will disappear, and we will become one, because the sound of the genuine makes the same music. Makes the same music. Now, this is your assignment, and you can never say again that nobody told you. Go thy way. Go thy way. All things say, thou hast thy way to go. Thou hast thy day to live. Thou hast thy need of thee to make in the hearts of others. Do thy thing, and be thou sure of this. No other can do for thee that appointed thee of God. Not any light shall fall upon thy road for other eyes. Thee the angel calls as he calls others, and they life to thee is precious as the greatest life can be to him. So live thy life and go thy way, so that God will not have to forgive himself for letting you be born. There is in every person that which waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in herself. There is that in every person that waits and listens for the sound of the genuine in other people. And when these two sounds come together, this is the music God heard when he said, "Let us make man in our image." Mercy. I've been sharing the words of Reverend Dr. Howard Thurman. The reason that I wanted to share these words is because I often find snippets of these words on the internet these days, and I wanted to provide a fuller context for his thinking, for his discipline, and for the roots of where his material come from. I invite you to ask yourself, what can I do? What can I do that will allow me to be still, not quiet, but still enough to hear the sound of the genuine in me? What can I do that will allow me to be still enough to hear the sound of the genuine in my husband, my wife, my son, my daughter, my sister, my brother, my friend, my neighbor? In other words, what can I do, what will I do to be still enough to be in tune with myself so that I can hear the sound of the genuine, the song of the river, so that I can make a difference for myself and for someone else in my life. Day by day, step by step, note by note, moment by moment, every single day. 365, 24/7. Now, if you missed any part of this week's show or last week's show, you can listen to a podcast at your convenience. You can listen to it on the go. Check us out on SoundCloud, iTunes, Alexa, Spreaker.com, and many, many other places. You can also download the show at www.talknetworkradio.com/legacyliving.html. Before I close today, I want to thank each of you for tuning in to today's show, for allowing me to share a bit about my journey with what legacy living is all about. Not just living and learning, but living and learning and serving so that you make a difference in your own life and in the lives of others. It's about being on purpose every single day, 365, 24/7. Legacy living is one of the many ways to make your life count. Once again, I want to thank you for joining me for today's show. I'm your host, Dr. Gloria.